dum 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 dum
Space between.
All right, so previously we had said that the intro, it's starting to, when I speak about it, I say the words and I don't feel as if it summarizes the podcast. Okay. So I'm going to start trying out different intros. And right now, I'm going to tell you something to say, okay?
I'm part of it now?
Yeah.
Oh my
but you
God.
have to say it real tough, okay?
Okay. Oh.
After I introduce myself, say,
Oh my God, okay.
Okay, here we go. Na-di-da-di-da. It's the motherfucking P-A-T.
Pat Sham, motherfucker.
Na-di-da-di-da. You know I'm with my wife, Amy.
Amy Sham, motherfucker.
Yeah, the space between podcasts is back for you motherfuckers.
Wow.
West, y'all.
Did you make that up yourself?
Put your hands up. Yeah, put them up. What's up, Snoop?
That was good. You know what I like the best is that you planned it and told me what to say after you started recording for some reason.
Yeah. Do you guys know that song?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Obviously.
I might do a different intro in the next
why I
episode.
Said, did you write that yourself?
No.
Because you didn't. So,
all right.
I need a... Just kidding. Go ahead.
No, what do you need, okay?
A bobby pin. Look at this.
Check it out. All right, so I'm still Pat Shand.
Mm-hmm. I'm Amy Shand.
And we have a guest today, a very special guest. And I'm not going to, no need to denigrate our previous guests, but I feel that this might be our best guest of all time, okay?
It's a catch of a guest.
Yes. Welcome, Lauren Reilly.
Yes, welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
So
excited.
Yo, I'm about to go get a bobby pin. I'm so sorry.
yeah, go for it. I want to tell you how I first put Amy onto your videos, okay? I was like, there is a girl on the internet, and she has the most expressive face you've ever seen. The faces that you make are incredible, and
Oh my God.
how would you summarize what you do and what you've done and why I know you?
So, I mean, the faces have been something that I've been training for my entire life. Yeah. It was this game that we played as kids. My dad would ask us to give a face for an emotion, but we couldn't use our hands. So going like this, stuff like that. Yeah. So I got so pro at exercising all of my face muscles. I have control of all of them. I can create whatever face.
I think so.
So that's the story of the faces. But for me, I've been on YouTube for a minute. I started doing YouTube back when I was in high school, and my goal, I just wanted to go viral. I was like, this will be the greatest, most wonderful thing. That was my goal. So I think this is how we ended up connecting, because it was via YouTube. So I made videos, vlogs, random sketches. I feel like I was legitimately born to make an ass of myself on camera. And I started early on YouTube, really as a teenager. My first video that kind of got a little popular, 200,000 views, which at the time I was like, I just thought that was amazing, was me doing an impression of Gollum. My friends actually in high school, they once locked me in a racquetball court and forced me to do this impression in front of the cutest guys on the track team.
Hey,
or they wouldn't lock me. They wouldn't let me out of the room. So I was known for my Gollum impression, but not because I wanted to be. I would bring it out at sleepovers, and then they forced me to do that. And after that, I just became known for it.
You're like, I confided in you.
Yeah, exactly. I thought they were my friends.
So, before we start talking more about videos, I do want to see if we can play that game a little bit. Can I say an emotion and you'll do a face?
Oh, dude, can you ever? Let's go for it.
Okay.
And you can go specific. You can be like, show me the face that you make if you were sitting in pudding. I got a face.
Oh yeah, no, give me that one. Yeah.
That's the I sat in pudding face.
That's so good. Oh, but
Thank you.
You know what sucks though? There has to be a sound on your end for us to see your face during the video. So maybe
we can do sound and face.
Yeah, do sound and face. If the face has no sound normally, maybe snap,
Or repeat what he says.
Okay. So let's do sitting and pudding again.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Did you get the sound?
Yeah,
Did we get that?
Yeah.
That's
That was
perfect.
beautiful. That was beautiful.
Okay, so how about you walk out of your room and you step in your cat's poop, okay?
Oh God, that's like true to life. That is so true to life. So
Yeah.
here I am walking. Because that's the anger, you know, like
Yeah.
you're upset. It's kind of your fault, but also not, you know?
Right. Confused, upset.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Ooh,
For sure.
I have such a good one,
Oh my
okay?
God, you guys could do this for 100 hours because he'll
Yeah, true.
just go on.
Okay, so one thing I'll say is this. You have a beautiful mans, okay? So I want to ask about this mans. What happens?
Oh, her partner?
Yeah.
I didn't even understand what you were saying. I said men's?
Say, okay, because this was a discussion that we had on a previous podcast.
Okay.
Say you come home, right? And he is wearing a furry costume, and he's like on the bed like this.
All right. So here's me.
Okay.
Here's me walking home. See him in the furry.
That was good.
Surprise to intrigued.
Oh, a little transformation
shoot.
there. Yeah.
That was
you know,
a
you know.
double.
That was good. That was good. Do you have any?
Not that I can think of right now. I would love to write a list though. Sometime.
Oh
I
yeah.
have one last one. Okay.
Okay, I'll
And I think that this one definitely deserves like a specific noise that you come up with and a face. But okay, so say
But okay.
say you're at the ice cream truck, okay? And you ask for a warhead, and what you don't know, right, is that at the factory there was a mistake, and they put the sourness, okay, of 20 different warheads onto this one warhead, and it hits your mouth now, and you react.
Okay. So here I am. I'm at the food truck. I'm ready. I'm so excited. I got my warhead. So much sour. That's so much sour.
Yeah, because that was like pain too, you know?
It would hurt. Well, you remember that shit with the actual warheads? Kids would eat like 20 in a row and they would like burn a hole through their
Yeah, I
tongues.
used to, when you asked me the other day if I liked warheads as a kid, I immediately flashed back to when I was like in Idlewild with my brothers on vacation, and we would do competitions of how many we could fit in our mouths.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And also, this whole situation reminds me of that time that we went to Wendy's and I fucking ordered.
Oh, dude.
Listen to
oh
this.
my god.
This face, your face that you just made is the face I made, IRL, when I drove through Wendy's and ordered a strawberry lemonade, and instead of putting strawberry puree in the lemonade, they put barbecue sauce.
No.
Yes.
No.
Actually, yes. And I was thirsty, and I fucking went in, and it went into my throat canal or whatever. And I can't even think about it. And I was livid, and it made me even more angry when Pat like gave it back and explained, and they started laughing.
Yeah, okay. So, well, first of all, Hoyt has a piece of meal in his mouth.
He does.
So what happened from my
Oh my
perspective, right?
God.
Amy's reaction was so good because, all right,
I was upset.
Amy is usually very, very high, so her reactions are understated. Okay,
Right.
I was in the
Maybe
driver's
that's
seat.
why when you like are like, Amy, it takes me longer to react.
I think so. I was in the driver's seat, still at Wendy's. I was still paying and getting the food, and I see Amy take the sip, and she just says, "Something's wrong." You know? So I smell the drink.
I'm like enraged thinking about it again right now.
No.
I could smell it was barbecue. I mean, it was no doubt. So I put it back, and I said,
First, I was like, what just happened? I was like, is that the most rotten strawberries I've ever tasted? Like, I couldn't, like, you could tell immediately, but I was in shock. So I didn't know what the hell.
well, the reason I could tell is because I used to work at McDonald's, and the employees would prank one another by putting sweet and sour and barbecue sauce like in the drinks. So you would start to go like,
yeah, you'd
know?
prank another employee. That's the key.
yeah. Oh yeah. So what happened was this: I gave the drink back, and I said, "This is barbecue sauce," and they just burst out laughing, and I'm
Did
just.
they think you were lying or something?
No. I'm stunned. I remember why. one of the girls next to the guy who took it says, "I told you."
Oh.
Because I mean,
I was like in a blank rage, so I don't even remember this.
yeah, the sauce packets must be the same size and a similar color, you know?
Yeah, because like I know what you mean.
Yeah,
but still, though,
I was
oh
furious.
My God.
I was furious.
I don't know if I was flip the situation, like if I would be so like taken aback as the person that handed it out, if I would laugh. But I feel like I would want to just be apologetic.
Yeah, you laugh.
Yeah.
Like, after
Once
we
they
leave, laugh.
like, oh my God,
Absolutely.
I can't believe that
Lose it.
happened. But like
Yes.
literally just be like, like what?
Oh, you know what's crazy? That's the second time that's happened to us.
What do you mean? I've only done that. That's only happened
Well, no,
to my throat once.
So we were at this coffee shop that we would frequent, and Amy drank her whole coffee, and then at the end of the coffee, she goes, I almost don't want to tell you this.
Oh no.
And I'm like, what? And she says, you have to take my drink and you have to look at it. And I look, and there is
It's still wriggling.
a hornet in the drink, you know?
And it had been there the whole time because it was like a sealed to-go cup,
Yeah.
an ice drink. So I like drank it all the way down until it was like ice and a little liquid. And then I just see him like now that there's less liquid, he can like kind of breathe again. And he's like trying to live.
Yeah, and I'll be real. Amy did not say, I'll have a double shot white mocha with some cream and a hornet in there, you know?
No, I didn't.
No, so I
Right,
went...
if you didn't order it.
No, right?
God. And imagine now there's those death hornets.
Oh, imagine it was one of those, yeah.
I'd be suing.
Yeah, it fights back. But I went to the counter, and I was like, there's a hornet in here. And they started laughing. The same shit.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That
same,
was even worse, I feel like.
I was...
Because those in the window, it was so fast and they were like kids. And this was like an adult lady manager
Yeah, she
who was like,
didn't take it seriously. So we had to leave because I was fucking burning up. I was
bet.
enraged. And as we left, I took the cup that was filled with ice and... Was the hornet still in there?
I believe so.
And
Unfortunately, I didn't try to save it.
I mean, it was beyond saving, you know?
Yeah, true.
I threw it at the establishment. We left and
On
I
the
just
outside of the
threw
window.
it at the window, you know? Because, hey,
Justified.
take your hornet back, you know
And
what I
that's
mean?
easy
Yeah,
enough
dude.
to clean. It's not like you vandalized the place.
No, it's ice. They'll be fine.
Yeah. But, okay, so, your videos. The first one I saw is the Pantsuit video.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Oh my
me
God.
too. That's
Yeah.
what you showed me.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's a pretty simple video to explain. I'll probably put a clip here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least a link.
Yeah.
So, as you know, I'm the pinnacle of modern fashion, and I want to show you the greatest thing that I just found today. Look at this. This was $5. Look at my beautiful dress. Oh, wait a second. It's not actually a dress. It's a pantsuit.
It's a pantsuit.
It's a pantsuit.
It's a pantsuit.
I mean, yeah. Is that like your most viral video?
Oh yeah, that nothing has ever compared. And the funny thing is, like, I was doing YouTube for so long, and like I always wanted to be an actor, but I kind of stopped because it's difficult. It's not easy, and you have to put y'all know, like, you have to put so much time into creative pursuits for stuff to pay off, right?
Yeah.
Like so I kind of stopped for a minute, and then one day I just went to the thrift store and I found that hideous garment, and I just made that video for my mom. I was like, I'll just do something stupid,
Yeah.
make it for my mom. And then like somebody, I mean, it was that day, like somebody on Facebook was like, oh, that's viral material. I'm like, well, yeah, whatever, who cares? Because I wasn't interested. I was like, I'm not going to do YouTube anymore. It's nothing. And then I think the next day I got like all these messages when I woke up on Facebook. People were like, yo, dude, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Someone had posted it to Reddit and it just like exploded. So nothing has ever compared to, and I didn't even try in any possible way. I just literally sent it to my mom,
That's so funny.
but I had to put it on YouTube first.
That's the best.
I couldn't like send her videos, right? Like so absurd.
Yeah.
That's so great. Yeah, I still remember that video. That's funny. And then yeah, like we've watched back even like to the ones where you're younger in the beginning and stuff, and seen
God.
just kind of how you know, you've grown and changed on your channel and stuff, and it's just been really cool to see. So it's nice to finally actually talk to you, you know, because you watch channels. I feel like you're our friend kind of, but now you are.
I know, I love this. And that's so neat. And I was talking to Alex, like, it's so weird. This is the first time I'm going to have like a live convo with you guys. But I feel like we've been friends for like so many years now. It's amazing.
Yeah, because just for some context too, we first collaborated on a short story in the back of Destiny New York, Volume 2. And yeah, that was super fun. And yeah, I could tell that you were going to be a great writer from the way that you tell stories on your YouTube.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do have a degree in writing. I think that was like one of the 3 things I've written since graduating college. But you know, things happen.
What I think though is that your YouTube videos are a form of writing. Your verbal storytelling is really, really unique on YouTube. You turn your exploits in life and just normal day-to-day things that happen to you into hilarious videos.
Thank you so much. I really love doing it like just an improv, just kind of like fly off the cuff, whatever, because I like messing with words and doing that stuff. So I feel you there on like, it's kind of like writing. It is in a way. Because when I'm writing, it's like going brain to fingers, and this is going like brain to mouth, I guess, you know?
Yeah, you must have taken specifically improv classes, huh?
I have. So I did do a little bit of improv, not too much, but I did take like an improv course once. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Is that the only kind of acting classes that you've taken, or did you go into that?
Yeah, I took a lot of, I was like pretty heavy. Like I did full-time acting for, I want to say about 3 or 4 years. So I did commercial acting classes. I studied at a film school for just over a year, and then did some improv, did a little voice act. I did a whole bunch of different stuff, just trying to kind of figure out the whole acting thing. Cause I knew, like I said, I've known from a young age, I was born to make an ass of myself on film.
Oh yeah.
You know, so like I was trying to make it happen, but the stress of it got to me, y'all. Honestly, like I was going hard for years, auditioning, all that type of stuff, but like starving artist shit's real, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
I had no money ever, and it was like just constant stress. And then I had like a part-time job. You always got to have some kind of job while you're hustling for acting stuff on the side. But like I'd have to call off I had to be on the phone at all times for my agent to call me, because as soon as she called, I'd have to go immediately to the audition, and stuff just churned so quickly. I did mainly commercial type acting. That was the market in Orlando. So after a couple of years of that, I was like, well, made a couple grand, can't afford my undies. So like maybe got to think of doing something a little different, because acting was like, I was trying to do it as like a career and a passion. And I think I needed to have something else, some way to make money before throwing myself fully into it, because it became about making money with what I wanted to do. And it was too difficult, you know?
It's so hard. It really is so hard. And yeah, I feel like I have such a deep respect for anyone who tries anything creative. Like, recently Amy and we came across, oh my God, it's the most hilarious, amazing cringe I've ever seen. It's this YouTuber. I won't say her name because I would never want her to watch this and be hurt. But she made this. It's a short film web series about quarantine, and watching it at first we were just laughing at every scene, and then about halfway through I was like, she put so much work into this, and I'm so fucking proud of her, you know?
And then, of course, at the end of the first one, I'm like, well, we'll play the next one.
Yeah, I'm like, what happens next, you know? So yeah, anyone who makes anything creative, I think it's just, you know, it's so hard to do anything creative, and it takes so much creating bad stuff to make anything good.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, and in the world of, like, especially acting and performing and stuff, it really... like it matters how good you are, but in a sense it really doesn't, because every role is like specific, and whoever casts it has something in mind, and like you just have to go through so much rejection in order to get like one thing, it feels like. So it's so hard true. And it's really stressful.
Yeah. And that was something like that was put exactly how I felt, was that I had no control over my destiny. And I busted ass in my acting classes, and I did, and I studied, and I trained, and like at the end of the day, they know who they want for the role. And if you're a good actor, that could be good. If you're not good, that could also be good. Like you never know. And so it was that, like having zero control over what jobs I booked. Had my best audition ever, and it wouldn't matter. You know, some of that type of stuff was like, maybe I'm a little bit of a control freak, I don't know, but I'm like, I need to know that at least I've got something like coming down the pipeline. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I agree though. Like people who do creative stuff, it is so difficult, but it's like you can't help it. You're so like creative people, like we can't help it. We have to do this shit, you know?
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I with your stuff, I get so excited whenever I see a new video from you, even if it's just you just talking to the camera in one shot. It's so funny, and there are things in our life that we go through that sometimes I'll just be like, if this happened to Lauren, it would make such a fucking funny video. Like right now, we have a situation outside of our apartment going on.
No.
It's I'm not sure if you saw my Facebook, no, my post on Instagram. It was all right. So every year, okay, these birds come and they make a nest on a little fire alarm outside of our apartment, okay, and it's been 5 years now. This will be the fifth time. They missed it 1 year.
We like literally talk about it before it comes. Like, oh, can't wait for
Can't wait for
springtime
the birds.
to come,
Yeah.
I know of these birds. Like,
yeah.
I know of these
You've
birds.
seen pics of them and shit.
Yes.
Love these birds. And then about
guys.
2 weeks ago, I noticed that a piece of cardboard had been put on top of the fire alarm outside. So I was like, this is probably someone trying to prevent these birds from nesting. So I knocked it down, you know?
Hell yeah, you did.
I did. And then the next day, it was back, but it was a bigger piece. So I knocked it down again, okay?
Pat's like, is this just happening? Are the birds bringing this up here? He's like, who
Yeah.
is this? And then it was so funny how you knocked it down the second time. You just like stomped your foot down, looked up, and just went,
yeah.
blew down.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
And-
like a fucking Spartan. You said,
Man.
Yeah.
so that's when the war began.
That's when the war began. Then the next day, as we're talking to my mother on FaceTime, my sweet mother, we hear a commotion going on outside the door. And I go out, and there are these two ladies who have just moved in across the way. Between early 20s to mid 30s, okay? And they have like a pole, and it's a whole sound. So I'm like, hey, what's going on? And
Because it's like literally in front of our door, not even a step to the right. So anything that happens like to that fire alarm or whatever, we're going to hear it right there.
right.
Yeah.
So they say that they're checking to see if the birds have laid eggs, because if not, they want to knock down the piece of nest that's there to prevent them from doing it. And I said, "Are you the ones that have been put in the cardboard?" And they said yes.
He doesn't like. I don't really like confrontation, and
me
Pat.
neither.
It's not like he seeks it out, but if it's there, he's not. He never is one to shun away from it.
Can you tell them?
And you'll know by this story.
Yeah, tell Laura and the people what I said after they confirmed that they had put the
so
cardboard.
excited.
Pat just like he's like, Mom, hold on. And he walks over to the front door, and I'm just sitting on the couch watching him, and I can't see them, but I can hear them. And he's like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "Oh, blah blah blah. Like, we're just seeing. Is there a bird there? Like, checking us." They're all nervous about it because they're obviously running away from our front door.
Yep.
And Pat's like, "Are you the ones that have been putting the cardboard there?" And they're like, "Yeah, because we don't want the birds to come and make a nest." And Pat's like, "Oh." And he just like doesn't even skip a beat and is just staring straight at them. He's like, "Well, I've been knocking it down every single day." And I'm just on the couch watching him straight face, like, oh my god. And his mom's on FaceTime.
Yeah.
Please hold, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And one of the girls says, "You want them here?"
No shit.
And I said,
No.
"Yeah." I said, "Yeah, everyone does." And then she replied that, "But they're territorial. They attacked us."
She claims that when she was going into her apartment, that one of the birds like flew down from there and like basically Alfred Hitchcocked her.
Yeah. yeah.
Well, she deserved it. I mean, she'd been blocking his home. What the hell do you think?
Yeah. And not only that, like, I don't believe her because we've been here for 5 years.
Yes.
And I've actually, like, you know, taken little stools up there to get, I never touch them, but I look at them and I'm around them and stuff. And they're there. And they never even look twice at me.
No.
They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So they're just like, I think abnormally scared of birds or something.
Well, check this out. And this escalates so much more. But what I think happened is this. Whenever we leave, the birds are alarmed that there's someone else there. So what they'll do is one of them will like swoop down and fly away and perch on the other side to watch us. Yeah. So what I think is that a bird flew past them close and they took it as an attack. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I reject this. So
imagine they're on the other side of the door listening to this right now. They're like,
let them, because this takes a strange twist.
Maintenance. This is what I was thinking. Maintenance has never done this before in 5 years.
Well, no spoilers, okay?
Right.
So, the next day I went for a walk around the apartment, and as soon as I left the house, I saw that on top of the fire alarm, and it's like up there. It's like 7 feet in the sky.
You have to get a stool to look at.
They took someone took electrical tape and rusty nails and have like 20 rusty nails sticking up in the air.
It's
Are
like
you kidding me?
sticking up out like that.
Yeah. Yep.
They basically made like a cardboard thing of, like what they have in parking lots sort of for like tires. It looks like that, but it's like all these nails sticking up, and then they taped it upside down so that they're sticking up on the top of the fire alarm.
Yeah. And like these do exist. We've seen them before where like the tops of buildings will put them so birds don't perch there.
Sure. Right.
So my thought was, I can't tell Amy because if I tell her, she'll start a war. Because there's like the conversation with me and them went a certain way where I was very blunt.
He can handle himself,
but Amy would have white hot rage. Okay. So I came back and I told Amy, and she was like, as long as the birds aren't there and didn't get hurt.
I said, as long as it was a preventative measure.
Yeah.
So the birds can like see it and then nest somewhere else. I'd be super mad if they like knocked down half a nest or a nest.
Yes.
And then did it. But still, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? We can't do this. We can't start a war with the fucking Hannibal Lecter of birds over here. We have to just accept this. It's a weird time. And also, they're nurses. So I don't want to have to interact with them closer because they might have, So then, another escalation. One time, I was getting out of the apartment and I saw perched on, there's this little water spout by the fire thing, just in case there's a fire in here, it shoots water out. Yeah. It's about 3 feet from the rusty nail situation. Is one of the birds perched there, like just waiting for the nest to go away? Nest.
Yeah, he's just like sitting up there staring at it.
Oh yeah,
his home.
Yep.
I know, for the past like whatever how many years.
Yep.
Seriously.
So now.
Wait, no.
Okay.
Not quite yet.
Go ahead.
One more escalation.
Okay.
So.
Jesus, we're going to the sky with this ladder.
So, about 3 days ago, I was taking out the garbage, and one of the nurses, the shyest one of the two, comes in, and she's passing me up there, and I say hello, and she says hello, and I say, hey, did you guys build that?
Confrontation, not a problem. I'm Pat Shand.
Oh my God.
Because the truth was that if she had built it, I might have to just say, and but what happened was she said, "Oh no," and she went inside. So now my mind is reeling. Is she lying? Because here's the thing.
I think she is a liar.
Well, wait
and
for it.
I have a theory about it.
Okay, I'll hear the theory after. Check this out. I'm thinking about it. My plan is that the next day I'm going to go, because we have 7 buildings here. I'm going to go to every building and see if there's a structure built on their fire alarms.
Genius.
However, the next day I go to do that, and there's a structure built on the one below us. We're upstairs, there's a downstairs.
Yeah.
The fire alarm has a professional structure. It's made of plastic sticking up like this. And it's never been there before. So I'm like...
This one looks like... icicles
Yeah.
upside down.
Yes. So that there's a twist coming though, but now you can
I think she's a liar simply because the first time you came out and asked what she was doing, she was all huff and puff about it, and I didn't trust what she was saying. She was saying like, "Oh, we're just coming to check and see if there was birds up here." It's like, bitch, you know there's birds up there.
Yeah.
Holding a pole, running away,
Yes.
looking guilty.
So suspicious.
Sus, as
Yeah.
the British people would say.
The reason I believe it is just because of the quick appearance of the second, much more professionally made.
So have you gone to the other building to see?
I got confirmation by seeing that one down there.
So no, you haven't gone to the other building.
No. Well, you think they put that there?
I think whoever put that one there put that one there.
Yeah, I
but
did
it's
too.
weird that they're different.
That is really weird.
They're different, and also the one downstairs is higher in the air than ours. Ours is like 7 feet. The one downstairs is like 13 feet in the air. Okay, but here's the twist.
But also, like I said before, we've been here for years, and maintenance has never done that.
Correct.
And if maintenance were to make the professional plastic one down there, why wouldn't they put a plastic one up here? Why would they make like a weird Texas Chainsaw Massacre looking thing up here?
I have an answer for it. I have an answer for it, for real.
Okay.
The reason that these things are there at all, in my opinion, is because the nurses complained. So they addressed the first
it is their
one.
fault.
Yeah, they addressed the first one by building this thing while they had the other one on order, right? And then they probably went and put that at least there, maybe elsewhere as well.
So when you looked at her in her fucking face and said, "Did you build that?" and she said, "No," she was lying to you.
Was not lying to me.
But you said she built that one.
No, I didn't. I said maintenance did while that was on order. But hold on, the twist is this though, that nature prevails. Okay.
We'll see, because that still looks really dangerous
It
to
does.
have like a super sketchy, fragile baby bird in there.
Yesterday.
For a few days now.
No. Watch. Okay. 2 days ago, there was a little piece of bird stuff on there. Yesterday, it was built up. Right now, there's a full nest on the rusty nails.
You guys.
They literally took, it's like, usually they make it's usually a bird I feel like would make, depends on the bird, but make nests out of like twigs and sticks and straw and shit. These ones are making like little tiny clay bricks with mud.
Yeah.
And like stacking the clay bricks in between the nails in a circle. So it kind of looks like at the end it's just going to be a mattress of mud that covers the nails.
So here's what I think. When I first saw that one bird perched on the water spout looking...
That's the architect.
Yeah, exactly. My thought was that this bird is like mourning what would have happened. No.
Yeah.
That bird was like, okay, so they built the foundation. Okay,
It's a
for me.
challenge, he said.
Now I'm going to see how I can work this.
And now
yeah.
it's going to withstand all the weather and all
Oh
the
yeah.
nurses.
It'll get extra ventilation from the nails. Like it's up on stilts a little bit, you know? Like no
Yes.
worries about flooding.
Yep.
Exactly.
pretty good.
I think that's just crazy. I can't
It is
believe that
beautiful.
they did that.
Oh, yeah.
So I hope it works out.
Yeah, so
I
that...
hope that Nova messes with it, y'all.
Oh, me too.
Oh, imagine they like power wash it or something.
If that happens,
know.
I can't tell you, you know?
I'm moving.
Well, that's so, and like it's like all of the joy that these birds have brought. Like I legitimately, like I know these birds.
From
Like I get so
across
excited.
the world, they're bringing.
Yes, dude. Like I love seeing the updates, and
Start
I
a
just can't
petition.
believe the nurses are responsible.
I think so,
Whether
too.
or not they built the thing, they're
Right.
responsible for it. Being
That's
there.
how I feel about it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, like in my heart, I'm like, listen, thank you for putting your life on the line, but also fuck you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I want
Yes.
my birds, okay?
No, yeah, they're really cool. They're like one of our pets.
Yeah, I love them. But all right, so a question that I had for you is this: your pantsuit video. You've gone on to create things that I would say probably like you put a lot more effort into, are more personal
Oh, yeah.
to you. Does it? Do you like that the pantsuit video is viral, or does it sting that's the viral one? Or because like I prefer. I mean, it's hard to say because I like when something that's a surprise comes to popularity.
Right.
But I also sort of root the most for my passion projects. So like, where do you stand on that one?
That is such a good question. So like none of my videos have ever been anywhere near that level of popularity, right? That was like a total fluke. So I think that there was a time when, yeah, like I was a little salty because I'm like, man, like I did all this stuff for so long, but also, you know, like that video exploded and that was like a whole different thing. And it's almost good. I think that it was just a one-off because I don't know how much I really wanted to fully go into entertainment on YouTube. So I feel like if it had taken off and some other stuff had taken off, I'd be like fully ingrained in that. And it scares me a little bit because, well, y'all, not to take this to a totally dark thing, but like that video became popular. I got a pretty big following after that. Nothing crazy, but a lot of dedicated people, a really good audience. And then I got invited to do a bunch of random little like gigs. And one of them was a live streaming site based in Asia. I really regret signing that contract. It was very strange and very weird. And I met some people who I thought were like total bros on through that site. And then one of them stalked me and came to my home.
Oh.
So that was kind of
I'd
like,
always wondered about that.
Yes, y'all. So this was kind of
you
like
moved and everything, right?
Oh yeah. Like
sure.
it kind of, I think that had more stuff gone viral, like I probably would have delved into the entertainment stuff because I really wanted to do it, but I got straight up traumatized by that happening. So essentially I got doxxed. Somebody completely different released my information online. This person who has been a fan of my videos for years and was like a fan of mine on the live streaming service. I would stream for, I think I had to do like 2 or 3 hours a day for like, I think I had a 6-month contract. He was on there like all the time. And then one day, just like walked up, came to my house. I thought I was about to die. And it was like,
not chill. Oh my
God.
God.
Like the scariest thing. And so my brain works in a way where it's like bad thing happens and then it extrapolates to all of the other possible things. So it's like, okay, well, say you had another video go viral or say like I got my face on TV. You got to contend with people like knowing you. Like so many more people are going to know you and know of you. And like I'm at the point now where like I do make videos but rarely because I'm like I filmed probably like I don't know 50 videos that aren't posted because like a tiny little piece of the outside will show. And I'm like, oh God, they're going to find who I am.
Right.
So it totally soured things. So like, yes, as much as it would have been cool to have that happen, I now like, I don't know that I can say one way or the other that I feel like it would have been good or bad because I'm now in such a negative headspace about being like known in a big way. But that's a really good question. Cause like, I have crafted stuff and it's like my dream for so long was to be like a famous, like for people to know who I am. But once that happened, I was like, maybe I'll just hide for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really a reality check. Cause ever since I was little and even to this day, I'm like, oh, I would love to be in movies and stuff like that. But you don't really think about stuff like that until you start to think about it because it is very, very common. Like, that's just a known thing is people in the spotlight, they're never not in danger. There's always someone who's looking out to see like where they are, what they're doing, and someone who's like creepily obsessed, you don't have to be like Marilyn Monroe famous or whatever. You can just be a little out there and it'll happen to you, and it's very scary.
No, that is scary. I mean, especially I feel like on YouTube, it's even different than like a TV or movie star of the same fame level, because on YouTube they're seeing your videos and your personality and they feel like they're your friend.
Right.
Yes.
So
personal.
I mean, we can talk about this as much or as little as you want, but like when this person came to you, did he like just knock on your door like a regular guy and said, "It's me"? Like how did he approach that?
Like as if you knew him too, sort of thing.
Right. And that's the thing. I'd never seen his face.
Right.
I know most people by like a username or like their avatar, right? And so like so many people I call by their username. So what had happened is, and I was in one of the darkest points of my life. So I was dealing with some undiagnosed mental illnesses, had no idea what was going on. I just knew I was miserable. I didn't have a car. Alex was working. He worked he had over an hour long commute. So he was gone 11 hours a day. Had no vehicle. I was stuck in the suburbs of Atlanta. We had just moved in here, got into a cheap place, not a safe neighborhood at all. So I would just chill in my yard. So I was sitting in the front yard. I was weaving a grass doll.
Oh my God. So you were outside during this?
Outside.
Jesus Christ.
Sitting in the driveway. We had a broken down car behind me. I was like weaving this grass doll. I had no prospects in life. So I'm just sitting there weaving.
I think it's great that you're weaving a grass doll.
Right?
I love dolls.
I was trying to entertain my brain. So I'm out there weaving and I see this person just like walking down my street but they're looking like towards my
Right
house.
at you. Yeah.
They're just like walking, and I could see, and it was like the vaguest familiarity. I feel like I've known the proportions of this face because I've seen it in a 5-pixel avatar.
And
So
now
I'm
it's like that far away.
I'm like, what's happening here? And they just walk up
Sketchy.
to the end of my driveway, and I'm sitting there like petrified. Because this is really sad news, but a few weeks prior, the YouTuber Christina Grimmie had been shot and killed at a show that she was doing. So that I just found that out like a couple weeks before, and I was like, God, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he just walks up to the end of my driveway and just goes like this.
Dude,
and I'm
that's
like
a horror film.
Right? And just like staring right at me, like doesn't say anything, just like puts his hand up and holds it. And he was holding something in his arm. And so I was like, hold on, I got to grab my cats. And I just grabbed 2 of my cats. I have 3. And I like chucked them inside. One of them ran underneath the car. And I was like, I'm sorry, it's you or me. Because I thought I was about to get shot.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
So I like slammed my door, locked it, closed the blinds. He was still standing there. And I'm like looking through, immediately like called my mom sobbing. Should have called the police. But like I felt like I knew who it was. So again, it's that weird connection where it's like I knew you from a distance. I thought we were like internet friends. You know, and it turns out like you cannot be trusted, and this is terrifying.
Yeah,
and so I called my neighbor and I was like, yo, one of my fans is here, like in front of my house. I literally don't know what to do. Can you come get me? And so he did. But before that happens, like it took him, right? Amazing. So it took him a couple minutes because I think he was like down the street, had to drive around. So this guy, I was watching him through my blinds, and he was staring at my house for a while. And then eventually I saw him put something in my mailbox.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, okay. And then he walked off. And then I saw a van drive by my house 3 times. And I'm sitting there. And then finally my neighbor pulls in the driveway. I like run out to the car, get in, and I hid in his house for a couple of hours. He checked in my mailbox, and it was this book. It was like a self-help book. Which again, probably sweet intentions, but still like not cool.
That's not how you do
not
it.
how this
No.
exactly.
I mean,
like not how
he
this
would need
happens.
that book, you know?
Right,
Yeah.
dude? Right?
Hey, how about send an email?
Yeah.
Would have loved an email.
Yeah.
Would have loved that, right? So,
Wow.
you know, it turned out that, of course, you know, I didn't die, but it legitimately traumatized me because it was such a breach of like the internet friend contract. Like we can, and y'all know, like you've seen my videos, I share a lot of personal deets. I can't help it. It's just like, I'm very open. And I love, you know, when people want to bring up their stuff, like we'll talk and we'll get in these deep conversations. But again, it's like, I know you as text.
Even in my right
like,
mind, I would never go and like find where you were, you know, like that's crazy. It's not like that. Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, you know, if you have consent, if we like agree to meet up, like all of those things are cool. Like you can't
randomly bump into you. Oh, wow. You're Lauren Reilly. Like huge fan. But that's just...
It was a total, like it scarred me so deeply. Like even if like, I don't know, even if a friend of mine came to my house unexpected, like I'm an awkward weirdo. Like, I'm like, don't do that shit. Let me know. Like,
yeah,
exactly. Like, come
sure.
on. Yeah. So I think that was kind of a catalyst for me where I was like, oh my God, like what the hell? Mm-hmm. You know, I thought I'm like giving myself to people and it's like to just be completely disrespected like that. But it was one person, right? Of thousands. And so it's like, I want to make a different choice. But I think for me, it's like I have to, and I'm slowly getting there, of regaining that feeling of like being safe and a safe way to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when I started my YouTube at age 15, branded it with my name first and last.
For sure. Yeah.
Regret that shit for sure. You know, because at least I could have had the YouTube separate from acting. But again, it's like my dream was I wanted to be an actor. So like, brand it with my name. That's who I am.
You're the package. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But
for sure.
Crazy shit, y'all.
That is crazy.
That is so wild, man. And it's true. Like I would be just as traumatized because you never know, like, especially if he's holding something like that's literally 1 second away from you being in grave danger. So yeah, I would feel the same exact way in your situation.
Yeah, I mean, how soon after that did you move?
I think it was within the month. Our lease was supposed to be up like 2 or 3 months later, and I think it was within the month that we left.
Yeah,
because my address had been blasted on the internet. It was on Imgur, it was on Reddit, it was on YouTube.
That's the worst thing to do to someone, I feel like.
So screwed up, right? Yeah. And you know what's the dumbest thing? They posted this thing. They were like doxing famous YouTubers. I'm like, first off, I'm not a famous YouTuber because if I was, I'd be making some YouTube gold, and I am not. Right. So I was pissed because I don't even get like the gold from the fame.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
I just get the negative shit. Like people thinking I'm like, hell no. Yeah. YouTube doesn't give a crap about me. So that was crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah. I think that there's a level of people always assume that if they know who you are, that you are famous and that you're doing well enough to hire security. You know, like there's a level of YouTuber, even though some of the ones with millions of subs, that they're getting enough to support themselves, right? But not enough to have protection from people who would want to do shit like that.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And you've heard about people getting like swatted and stuff.
Oh yeah, that happened to Ethan and Ela from H3H3. Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. So people call and say that, oh yeah, so and so has a bomb or something crazy is going on, and a SWAT team comes, and it's pretty much like it's an attempted murder. You know.
Yeah, they do it to live streamers a lot. So they'll essentially tell them, yeah, they've got drugs or they've got some hostage, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so it's like the actual SWAT team comes in and like gets them on the ground. Like they do this to people. And so all of it, again, once this guy came to my house, it was like all of the possible permutations of horrible internet shit that could happen. I was like, oh my God, like I am putting myself out there and this is so real.
Right.
And it's made me a little paranoid. There's been a few times in public where people have recognized me and came up and talked, and it's been civil and safe and cool, but it's like, but it could also not be. And I just want my brain to like think of the safe path, but I don't. I think of all of the worst things that could happen. So it's been such a weird, I'm trying to get back into it because I miss it. I love making videos. I love rambling and doing dumb stuff, but it's like trying to figure out how to safely do that. Or like, can you safely exist as an internet personality? I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's, because you're putting your face, and essentially you're putting out an invite for friendship to people who you don't really get the same in return. You don't get to see who that person is.
Yep.
And yeah, that can be very scary. But so I want to bring this up because I've been wondering this for a long time. Okay, I saw the Pantsuit video, and I went on to watch a bunch of your other videos on the channel, and that was my first exposure to you. But I made the mistake of not subscribing. I just, do the thing where I just watch the videos. I'll remember who this is and I'll come back.
Yeah.
But then I lost it, couldn't find it. And I was looking like, who is that YouTuber who made these amazing videos for a long time? And then I don't know how I found you again, but I did. And then I went to follow you on Twitter and you were following me. And I'm wondering if maybe I tweeted to you when I first saw the videos and you followed back, but I've always wondered that
I remember that story.
Yeah, that I might have not really found you and connected with you and had you come on if I hadn't seen that you were following me, Because as soon as I saw that, I followed and subbed and everything, And I've been curious for forever about that.
Forever.
That is so interesting. So I know when I had a Twitter, and what's weird is that I was thinking about my Twitter today, and I haven't even signed on to a twit in like years. Yeah. And that's so weird. But what I remember I used to do is anyone who followed me, I would follow them back. So there's a chance, but see, if you didn't know who I was, how could you have followed me?
Right. I mean, what I might have done is, I might have tweeted like, so someone should watch this video, or just like retweeted you and didn't follow at that point. And maybe you saw my retweet and followed me.
I think so.
Maybe, but yeah, I've always wondered that. Yeah.
That is hilarious. And I think I'm sure it was something like that because at the time, again, I was like, okay, this is happening for me. I can make this work. And so I wanted to like engage with as many people as possible. So I feel like that is probably what happened. Like if you made any post, I was like, oh my God, this person is being so kind. Friend. Yeah. So I think that's probably exactly what happened.
Oh, hey, check this out.
Are they loving
you
it?
exposing
Look at Nugget. Oh, Neil, I love you.
He's such a good boy.
He's dense.
So you have 3 cats or 4 cats right now?
I have 3.
3 cats.
I have 3 cats, yes.
Awesome. What are their names besides Luna?
So we have Luna, the sick one, who just got the world's largest hairball removed yesterday, or 2 days ago.
God.
She doing okay?
She's like doing so good. She's actually sleeping now. She didn't sleep for like 2 days. I think she was like so high. Her eyes were just like wide open glass, and she was just like looking at shit like she'd never seen colors for the first time. I feel like it was like some psychedelic shit happening. It was hilarious.
That's beautiful.
But she's being aggressively loving. Good. Like you try and pet her and she's just like rolling around. So I actually can't pet her because she's got massive stitches and she's like stretching out and getting so happy anytime I pet her. So I have to give her like limited love. But
right. That's how she was when we got her fixed. We're like, don't reach up, don't stretch out.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you know what it is? Maybe because even with all of the stitches with Luna, she probably is so much more comfortable with that stomach like being nice and empty now. She's probably like stretching like hell yeah.
Right? Yeah. And she's like eating so much food. She's never gained like weight. She's been so tiny. And here's my theory for this shit, you guys. Let me get into some cat stats here.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we don't know we don't know how this happens. And it seems like, oh, your cat's got a hairball. Do you never brush them? No, she loves being brushed. I brush her all the time. But she has had these hairball issues on and off for years. And I've like brought her into the vet to ask like, hey, can you do something? I feel like she might have a blockage. Something's going on. And they're like, no, she's fine for years, you know? So back, when a couple years after we first got her, she was grooming herself like constantly, over grooming, where she would have like bald patches on her skin. So I took her to the vet, spent thousands of dollars, and they're like, oh, it's a psychogenic alopecia, which just means like your cat's crazy and she's licking herself because she's bored. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. And so they told me to get Feel Away, which is like the cat pheromone. So I plugged in a bunch of Feel Away, didn't do anything. Then they told me it was food allergies. So I got all this fancy food, still licked all of her hair off. She was almost bald on both sides of her body. So I was like, okay.
Melissa's cat.
Oh yeah. So I was like, what else could cause a cat to be constantly grooming? Well, something I found on the internet's potentially mange. You can get little tiny mange mites that are itching the cat's skin.
Okay.
They never tested for mange. She's like an indoor cat, so it makes no sense. But we briefly lived with some dogs where they had like a little outdoor access. So we took her to the vet and I asked them specific. I'm like, do a skin scrape. I think it's mange. And it was.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Genius.
Right? It was Demodex mange, some like super rare, weird form of mange the vet had never seen before in their lives. I'm like, how the hell does this
You're
happen?
like, hire me now.
Right? Exactly. Like, hello, vet to the rescue. So we got her diagnosed and then, you know, hair grew back, perfectly healthy, wonderful.
Nice.
But she licked like her entire coat off, you guys.
Right.
So to me, it seems like this hairball situation could have been brewing for like the past 5 years.
For sure.
How could you not lick that much hair off, right? And so maybe something got stuck in there and then she's been having these hairball issues because she's so tiny. Like she's a really leggy cat, but she weighs like 7 pounds.
Aw.
She's super, super thin. And she has, like I said, never gained weight, never been a big eater, nothing like that. And I'm like, maybe she just had this massive hairball in her body.
Maybe she'll be like 9 pounds now.
Yeah.
I'm like, please get chunky. I just want my fat cat.
No, I'm
I
super
really hope
glad that you finally figured it out because
Yeah.
that's the thing is like they can't talk to you. You don't know what the hell's going on. And sometimes you have to do your own research. Pat's done that before too, where the vet will say something and Pat will say, well, how about this? And then they'll look into it and they're like, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Pat's like, actually.
Yeah. What happened with that, Hoyt has cat scratch fever, okay?
Water.
And the vet just diagnosed him and said, you know, this is easy to fix. Take this pill. And no, and then when it wasn't a pill, it was a little splash of some medication, just once every 2 days or something like that, you know. Yeah. So I did that. Took him back to get tested. He's still positive. So then the vet gave us a pill to give him, and I gave him the pill. And about an hour later, he starts to just madly lick and scratch himself, and it goes on all night. And I'm freaking out.
And I feel like his body temperature was like a little bit warmer too.
Yeah. Oh, no. So I look up possible reactions to the medication, and it says that a rare reaction is extreme itchiness.
Oh my God.
So then I'm like, let me look into this fucking cat scratch fever a bit more. So I did, and I was like, what are the dangers of cat scratch fevers? Googling shit like that, and like, I kept not finding much, so I read a bit more about the medication, and it says that treatment is not recommended for cat scratch fever.
What?
Yeah, so I called the vet, and I was like, listen, I just want to ask you, in your opinion, why are we treating Hoyt? Because this medication was given to him. He had a bad reaction, and I looked it up, and it said treatment is not recommended. So why, in your words, are we treating him? And he said, because cat scratch fever can be passed off to a human. And I responded, what would happen to me if I had it? And he said, you would have a cold. And I said, okay, here's what I think. Tell me that before, because I would have never treated him for this. Would have never treated him. And I was furious. And yeah, what I like is that he ended the phone call by saying, I hear what you say, and now I'm going to take it into account going forward that people have different reasons for treating cats, and in the future, I'll make sure to bring up specifically why. And I said, good, but that did definitely leave an impression on me that now I had to do my own research.
Right.
Yes,
But
I
like
really
if
do,
he
yeah.
was like a dick and if he was defensive about it, then we probably would have been looking into going to another vet.
Oh, that day would be
But
the end of it.
But he was super nice about it.
Yeah.
And
That's
he
really lucky.
learned from his mistakes.
Yeah, but,
and
ooh.
he knows how to deal with clients. So that's
Furious
good.
though.
That's really good that he like that you figured out what was like actually going on,
Yeah.
and that he's like agreed to like think of the reasons. Like that's really positive.
Definitely.
We brought her in last week. I had an emergency vet appointment for her last week on Thursday, and I said I think my cat has an intestinal blockage.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, abdomen's fine, everything looks good. She doesn't seem to be having any pain whatsoever. Bring her back in if she gets worse. And she didn't really get worse, you guys. Like from that day, she actually improved. The day I brought her back in the vet, she was as good as she had been in the past week.
Yeah.
And the vet said that she would have died in the next day or two had we not
Oh
gotten
my
that thing
God.
surgically removed. And I brought her into the vet a week ago.
That's a
And I know that
mother's
mistakes can
instinct.
happen, right?
Yeah.
But like shit.
Holy shit. That's like that. Oh man, yeah. That's so scary because I remember Neil, upside down Neil over here to my right, when he was a baby when we were in San Diego. I just knew something wasn't right with him, and I talked to Pat about it. We took him to the vet, and he had to be like in the vet for like I think 2 nights or something. They said if we hadn't taken him in, he would have like died
Yeah.
Oh my god.
because he had like some sort of infection.
He had an extreme fever. He had like a 10 something fever.
Yeah.
It was really up there.
You know, when they're just like laying on the floor, but their head is down on the floor, and he was like in a corner. So I knew.
Yeah.
But but what about your other cats? Is other females or
Yes.
boys?
So we have Frances. She's the one we found in the street.
That's a
So
great name.
we've Frances, yeah. So she's actually named after Saint Francis. I'm not a Catholic, but Alex was raised in the Catholic Church. And the reason we named her Frances is one night we were just taking a stroll, 11 p.m., and we heard these like inhuman screams. So intense. So we walked to the source of the screams, and we saw in this church courtyard by a statue of Saint Francis, who's like the saint of animals, our little baby Fran, just like screaming and
So
crying.
cute,
And I'm
yeah.
like, oh shit, this be a sign. So I went and I tried to catch her, and she did run away and like hide in a pipe, and then I yanked her out of said pipe and then just like carried her home in my arms and just kept her my
This is
captive
what's
forever.
best for you.
Exactly. So she's a freak,
That's
and I
awesome.
love her. She's like completely psychotic like me, and she's really, really good at honing in on my mood. So anytime I express an emotion that's just like a little too much, like if I'm really too sad or like too angry or I'm having like too much fun, she'll like aggressively, like she'll come up and scream in my face, like bite on my cheeks, like lay on me. She's like really weird about my emotions.
That's
Aw.
good. I like that.
Yeah, super sweet.
Yeah.
And then our youngest one is our son. His name is Neville, named after Neville Longbottom.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Oh yeah.
And we got him actually, this is a little bit of a sad story, but it turns into a joyous one because of Neville. Last February, our cat Minnie, who was our first cat we ever got, Minerva, she started acting like weird all of a sudden. And we're like, this is strange. All right, let's take her to the vet. So we took her to the vet 2 days after she started acting weird. They did an x-ray and they're like, her entire chest cavity is filled with cancer. You have to put her down tomorrow.
No.
It was like, yeah, like so sudden, like no time to like process anything. I was in the
Cancer's
middle
the
of my
worst. Our cat
so
Wes
intense.
had cancer. Yeah.
Oh, I remember Wesley.
yeah.
He was a tuxedo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The black and white one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just so devastating. And I was in the middle of my programming boot camp at the time. So like my brain was already just melted and fried. And it was like right before graduation. We lost our poor baby.
Aw.
And within a month, I was like heartbroken, just couldn't deal with it. And so we went to the shelter and adopted Neville. His name was Sylvester at the time, and he was 5 months old. He had sat in the shelter for 3 weeks as a kitten because he had tested positive for FIV
Oh my god.
one time and then tested negative twice. So like people were like,
Sketched
you know, we
out.
don't,
Yeah.
you know, for obvious reasons. And we didn't want to get a cat with FIV because we didn't know, but they were kind of making it seem like it was no big deal, which I think in most cases it's totally fine. Like unless your cat gets like a deep flesh wound from another cat with FIV, they don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's shared like through bowls or whatever. But yeah, we adopted him and had to get him like tested again, I guess, like the real definitive test to see if he had FIV. He does not. And he's
Nice.
just like the most perfect son. He's got a little mustache. He's a little
Aw.
tuxedo boy.
Aw.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
It's
hilarious.
kind of like it was like a little bit of a false test in the very beginning so he could hold out for you guys.
I think so, dude. Well, the
Yeah.
thing is, I think he went into the shelter the weekend after Minnie passed away. So that would have been like the first weekend that we could have been looking for another cat. And he stayed in the shelter until we were.
Aw.
He was meant to be. And I would like pray. We have a little shrine set up over here for Minnie. I'll like an incense for her. It's like a little Japanese shrine.
That's very cute.
And so like we like prayed to Minnie to like help us find like a good cat. And he is just, We could not have asked for a better cat.
Aw,
He has
he's a
job.
gift from Minnie.
It's a gift.
That's
He has
so
a
cool.
job. He goes to work every day. He works from about like 7 a.m. to maybe 5:36. He guards our backyard. We have like a 10 square foot backyard, and this little shit sits out there, and he just watches everything that goes on. Anybody comes up to the fence, he immediately runs up and he'll like jog along the side of the fence with them until they pass our yard. He scares off dogs.
cute.
He does not like children. Like he gets up to the fence and he'll like Halloween cat on them, but like all day long, he has his duties. He never has once tried to escape or whatever. He just like, that's his zone.
That's amazing.
So cute.
Dude,
Are you
your
guys- do
cat
you guys
sounds so great. And you know what's awesome is you know them and their personalities.
Oh,
and
God, yeah.
Like uniquely to all three of them so well, just as we do with our cats. Because especially now that I'm not going to work and back, they are like one of my main sources of entertainment. I watch them like an episode of Love Island. Like,
Oh my
like,
God.
And now like Hoyt's approaching Neil and it's gonna be like blah blah blah. You know, I'm just like, oh my God, they're so funny. They're just. And I grew up with dogs and stuff, and I never knew how sociable cats could be.
Amazing.
Until I got with Pat, and he had the two cats, you know. I just always thought that they were more aloof, but ours especially, I feel, they're just super mushy.
I would love to have you back, and it would be fun if your whole family could do it. You, Alex, and all the cats, you know?
Let's.
Yeah.
Oh, we
Fran
have a family
would
get-together.
love that. Y'all have what? 4, 5 cats?
4 now.
4, yeah, 4 now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it,
Sweet.
You know, you know what? I've thought about expanding sometimes, because every time I go, I'll go in my memories on Facebook and I'll see that like a year ago or 2 years ago, I posted a video of a cat that I saw in the pet store. You know, like just, you know, Petco and pet stores like that will have this little section where they have rescue cats from the shelter are there, you know, and I'll make a video of them and I'll watch it now and I'll be real. I'll cry watching it because I'm like, I wonder how this cat's doing.
Yeah.
I like when you like take a picture or video and then you post like a little advertisement for them.
Yeah, I try to give
So
them a home.
sweet.
He's like, if
Yeah.
you're looking for a cat in the Long Island area, this is like, you know, whatever. This is Jeffrey.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
And I remember some of their names, you know, like who
Yeah, we'll like talk about that.
I'll always
later.
remember Angus, okay?
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah,
Was that wait, which one was that?
A very slinky boy. His hair is kind of fucked up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's in San Diego.
Oh my God.
Oh God,
In
Angus.
San Diego, you hear that?
Yeah.
That was years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
See, I identify with this. So I literally remember shelter cats that I didn't adopt. And like, we have, actually their names rhyme. There was Chubbs and there was Nubs.
Hey.
And I just,
nice.
Nubs had like a little stub tail and Chubbs had was like a kind of like a flatter face cat, but mixed with like a domestic short hair. So it was just like a little bit squishy in the face. Just these two cats. And I think about them all the time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I just wish that they were mine. And and I
Yeah.
feel you, like it hurts my heart because I don't know how they are. And I just hope that they're okay.
Yeah. We wish we could have all the cats sometimes.
Oh yeah, I
God,
mean,
me too.
yeah, but at the same time, what I have to keep telling myself is that like, in the house, with the amount of time I spend with each cat, it currently is a great dynamic, you know.
But like
It really is
like
good.
we often spend time with like 2 or 3 of them at one time.
Yeah.
And they enjoy each other too. But that's the
so
thing.
lucky.
It's like your 3 cats, they all get along 100% of the time, right?
Well,
fight sometimes?
unfortunately. So when Minnie passed away, Minnie and Luna, their original posse. And then Francis came along, the little gift from Jeebus, I guess.
Yeah.
So Minnie and Luna were bros, but Luna and Francis actually like kind of don't get along. Francis is a
Really?
bully. Yeah.
Really?
Luna, for the most part, like now that we have more space, we're in a bigger apartment, like they now, like it's been so much better.
Yeah.
But those 2 butt heads. So when Minnie passed away, we're like, I can't just have the 2 because they're going to kill each other.
Mm-hmm.
So when we got Neville and Francis are best bros. They like fight and wrestle. It's like, you know, Neil and Hoyt situation, just like kissing and grooming and then like all of a sudden fighting. So Luna's like my baby. She sits on me like all day long. She's like a people cat, but it is so important, the dynamic, the social dynamic between your cats.
Yeah, we never want to throw a stone into it. We think about it all the
Yes.
time because we've had 5 cats and now we have 4, and I've never been in a situation where like I'm actually worried about 2 of the cats and how they get along and stuff. We go out of town for like a week at a time sometimes, and yeah, we have someone coming to feed them and stuff, but the rest of the day they're just on their own with that. So we're just so lucky that they all get along. Imagine we got one and it kind of like threw a wrench in the works and
Yeah.
one of them turned into like kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
Probably would be Chi-Chi.
No. I mean, all right.
She's a little princess.
Here's the thing about the cats is Odo. He is currently our oldest one. Odo is the last one to accept the new cats. But he always has, and what starts out as anger becomes just like annoyance. You know,
Like he'll deal with it.
yeah,
He'd be okay, I feel like, if he was the only cat in the house.
yeah.
But if Hoyt was the only cat in the house, he would like die of depression. Because he
Hoyt.
needs social.
Yeah.
He needs love all the time.
Does he ever? Hoyt. All right. So the
He's
cats
such a sop.
used to all eat together. There would be back before Chi-Chi. There would be 4 bowls, and all 4 cats would eat together. Then the vet suggested that I introduce wet food, and that changed the game. Neil became obsessed with it. And we don't do wet food anymore. A different vet has now suggested a different diet. But
We've like gone all over the place with
yeah, Neil blew up from the wet food, and he would just he became manic. He would cry for it all the time.
He wasn't even fun anymore.
Oh my god.
But that changed the way that they eat food. So I had to separate them all, or Neil would scarf his down so quick in order to get to the other cat's food. So that went well for everybody except Hoyt. Hoyt wants to be eating next to someone. So what happens is this. I'll have to put his food in a bowl in the bedroom, and he's alone, and he'll eat for a little bit because he's hungry, and then I will have to go up to him and be next to him, and like have my face by the bowl with him for him to keep eating.
Or else he'll just walk
way.
away from it and he won't finish his meal.
If I use my phone while I'm doing
He has
this,
Pat
he's
trained,
out.
that's for sure. He's got you
That is
trained.
hilarious.
Yeah, he needs me to do it. He really does.
You like it though.
I mean, Hoyt is, no offense to you, because you are too,
Oh, I already know.
but Hoyt's my soulmate, okay?
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I feel okay about that because I went to the shelter one day while you were at work, and then I brought Hoyt home to you. So
Yeah,
you're welcome.
There you go.
it's true. Now, we're going to be wrapping up, but before we do you have any more questions?
No, I feel like that went so fast though. We should have
It
you
did.
back.
It
I
did.
know you
That was
guys.
super fun. So nice
So
talking
fun.
to you.
Yeah, I mean, if
Agreed.
you want to, we would love to have you as a recurring guest.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I would totally do it. I would love it.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Now, as a final thing, can we do 3 more motions and faces?
Oh, you got it, man.
right,
Let's
so-
do it.
All right, now, just be sure to make a sound when you do it because I want to capture it. Okay.
Okay.
So the first one, Alex says, "Oh, I had this amazing movie. I watched it. I was moved by it, and I want you to watch it with me." And as you're watching it, you realize the movie sucks.
Alex.
I
That
love
would
how
probably
honest
be.
you are about it though.
Oh, I don't. He knows.
I was
He
like,
knows.
is she gonna do like a sort of trying to be polite sort of thing? No, that's her life partner. She's not gonna lie.
We don't mess around. Alex knows. Like I said, y'all, I'm an open book, and poor Alex has to deal with that shit all the time. No, I'd let him know straight up. Like, this
Alex!
shit. Well, because he'll show me like these dumbass YouTube videos. I was like, "What the hell are you doing? Don't send me that shit." And that's terrible. But I have to be honest.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Do you have similar taste in like movies and TV though?
Oh yeah, like very similar. He does. There's some stuff that he's really into, like war and stuff like that. And I don't watch any of it. So that's one of the things that we don't see eye to eye on. But pretty much everything else, we're like, it's.
Is there anything that you really like that he particularly like doesn't mess with?
Honestly, I don't think so. Like we're both like pretty compatible. I feel like I'm definitely more obsessed with rewatching things. Like I'll rewatch Harry Potter. Or, like, you know,
Oh, me too.
Over
Yeah.
it.
you know. So like he won't always sit down like as I binge through stuff. Like
Yeah.
he's not as much of a rewatcher as I am. That's the only thing that we kind of like diverge
Nice.
on.
Yeah. Now, emotion number 2. Okay. You're at Wendy's and you order a strawberry
Oh my
lemonade.
god.
And instead of strawberry, they put barbecue in the lemonade.
Fucking pissed.
God, I can't wait for my lemonade. I'm so.
It's like
You
you
know
were
what?
there.
It's like you know what the thing is? Anytime you drink anything, if it's not the thing you thought you were gonna drink,
Right.
that will always mess with your minds.
Yes.
Even if you think you're drinking lemonade and you drink water, it will,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Right.
like it's still going to make you do that. But when you drink barbecue sauce and like that's, come on.
It was so not good.
No. In fact, it was horrible.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
All right. So last one, okay? And this is a thing that I believe can happen, okay? Because you are from your videos, I can tell that you are a very talented actor, and so check this out. It's 10 years in the future, okay? You're sitting in the seats for the Academy Awards. And,
wow, he's got big hopes for us.
I love it.
It's for best female actor, okay?
Oh, shit.
And your name is called. You won.
Oh. That was me, like, actually, like, the poop came out a little bit.
Yeah.
About to accept, but I gotta squeeze it in.
Oh my
The
god.
best.
That's
At
amazing.
least till the speech is done.
Yeah. Then we're just like, we're gonna run right out of the room. Oh my god, just the thinking of that. What amazing.
I mean,
fun.
I'll tell you this: if that happened and you did that face, that would be not only your most viral moment, but the most viral moment of the Oscar history. Yeah? Right?
Someone pooping themselves before accepting an award, like obviously, like walking up and saying, like, oh my god.
That's great. That's
Oh,
great.
brother.
Yeah. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Oh,
That
thanks
was
for
awesome.
inviting me. This has been so fun and like the most social interaction I've had in literal months.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
So
I mean,
No worries.
please be a recurring guest.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever
do
thought about
this.
having a podcast for yourself?
I have all of the thoughts. And then like just shit doesn't happen. I mean, I did get a shower this morning though, so like
Hell yeah, good for you.
right? Mm-hmm. Alex and I
That's-
have been thinking about like a podcast because we just love just sitting and talking. So I have considered.
Yeah.
I would
considered.
totally listen to it,
Oh
obviously.
yeah, I love it.
And the thing is, like, it can be anything. Our podcast doesn't do sometimes as well as usually when we post on YouTube. In the past, we would do reaction videos, and those would get great views. And then while we were doing that, our podcast saw a big spike.
Nice.
But since we've stopped, it's kind of fell off a little bit. But it's just so fun to do, and it's so easy. And I think that once we get back to those reactions, it's gonna be a spike again.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh sure.
Because people search the reaction videos because it's already something that exists and then we're reacting to it.
Right.
And then it tags onto our podcast, but people are less likely to search like Pat and Amy Shan yet.
It's true.
So.
Yeah.
Right.
But they will.
It's true.
Oh hell yeah, they will. Well, when I look at YouTube channels I used to follow that had like a small following, all they did, but they just kept doing it year after year,
Right.
and all of a sudden they're hundreds of thousands of followers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the grind, you know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah. Thank you for doing this. You are
Yeah.
awesome.
Thanks for
Talk to
having
you
me.
super soon.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. Y'all keep on keeping on.
Space between.